Welcome to another session of chapter 7, that is directing. And this is the part 3 of directing. In the earlier sessions, we have discussed about the elements of directing, especially the motivation and supervision. So, under motivation, we are going to continue further. Let me give you an outline as to what we are going to cover in this session. We are going to study the Maslow's need hierarchy theory and financial and non-financial incentives. Now, when we talk about Maslow's need hierarchy theory, it is considered to be fundamental to understanding of motivation. Abraham Maslow, who gave this hierarchy theory, he is a well-known psychologist in a classic paper which was published in 1943, and he outlined the elements of an overall theory of motivation. And he had contributed a very good theory in terms of motivation, that is Maslow's need hierarchy. So his theory was based on human needs, and he felt that within every human being there exists a hierarchy of 5 needs. So let's see what are those 5 needs. Moving from bottom to top, the first basic needs which he was talking about is physiological needs. Then comes the safety, then comes love and belonging, esteem, and then comes self-actualization. Now, according to Maslow, he was of the opinion that every human being passes through these 5 stages of human needs. That is, starting from the basic, when one need is satisfied, then only that person moves to the second level of need. Like, for example, a person cannot think of esteem or self actualization without fulfilling physiological safety or love and belonging needs. So, according to him, every human being passes through these stages of need, and only when the one need is satisfied, then he moves to the second further need in the vertical position. So, talking about physiological needs, that is the basic needs. These needs are most basic in the hierarchy, which is primary needs, that is food, shelter, and clothing. Hunger, thirst, sleep are some of the example of this basic physiological needs. Once a person is satisfied with this basic physiological needs, then he moves on to the safety and security needs, which means that a person who's hungry cannot think of esteem needs or security needs, because the first thing he would look for is to satisfy the basic needs. So that is why the second step is security needs. So these needs provides security and protection from physical and emotional harm. Like, let's say, for example, job security, stability of income, pension plan. These are the security needs. In short, a person tries to secure his personal life as well as professional life through job security, stability of income, pension plan, etc. Once these needs are satisfied, then he moves on to the affiliation or belonging needs. Now, these needs refers to affection, sense of belonging, acceptance, friendship, fear, love, belonging, care. All these are the other needs. The fourth need, which he was talking in the hierarchy, is esteem needs. Now, let's say if the person is satisfied with physiological needs, safety and security, belongingness needs, then he thinks of esteem needs, which means now once he has achieved the other 3 needs, now he looks out for self-respect, status, recognition, attention. So now he would strive to get status or attention or self-respect in the area where he is working or where he is living with. And once he has achieved all these, or once he has satisfied all these esteem needs, then comes self actualization. Now, this is the highest level of the need in the hierarchy. It refers to the drive to become what one is capable of becoming, which means these needs include growth, self fulfillment, achievement of the goals. And once he reaches that stage, all his needs are satisfied. Now, Maslow's theory is based on the following assumption. He assumed that people's behavior is based on their needs. So satisfaction of such need influence their behavior. And people needs are hierarchical in order, as I said, that it starts from the basic and then it moves on to the higher level. So a satisfied need can no longer motivate a person, and he can be motivated only to go to the next higher level. And a person who moves to the next higher level of the hierarchy only when the lower need is satisfied. This is what I had explained you few minutes back, that he will move on to the next hierarchical need only when his lower needs are satisfied. So the behavior is also affected. Like, let's say, for example, if person is not satisfying the need of hunger or thirst, then it affects his behavior. Now let's talk about financial and non-financial incentives. When we say incentives, it means all the measures which are used to motivate people to improve their performance. Now, these incentives can be in the form of awards, rewards, bonus, pension, recognition, status, appraisal, etc. So, incentive is a means to measure which are used to motivate the person to perform better and better. And incentives may be classified into either financial or non-financial. So let's study both. Financial incentives means we all know that money has a purchasing power and everybody is working for monetary benefits. So it becomes a very important incentive for every individual. Now, financial incentives refers to the incentives which are in the monetary form or measurable in terms of money, and they serve as a motivation for a better performance. So when we talk about the financial incentives, it could be of many types. First one is pay and allowance. Now, when I say pay and allowance, it means the basic salary, wages, or the dearance allowance, or the other allowances which are given in the organization. And this helps or enhances the employee to work better and better. The second financial incentives could be productivity linked wage incentives. That is, the more you perform well, the more you are paid. So several wage incentives plan aim at linking the payment of wage to the increase in productivity. So the more is the productivity, the more would be the wages. This is what we have also studied in the earlier chapter, where it is differential piece wage rate system. That is, the more you produce, the more you receive. The third one is bonus. Now, bonus is an incentive which is offered over and above the wages. That is, bonus is offered apart from the salary, which motivates the employee to work efficiently and effectively in the organization and to fulfill the goals of the organization. The fourth is profit sharing. Now, profit sharing is also another financial incentives, which means to provide a share to employee in the profit of the organization. There are many organizations who give part of profit to their employee or give a share from the part of profit so that they feel that they are part of the organization and they work harder to achieve the organizational goal. Because when profit is shared with the employees, it motivates them, it gives them the feeling of belongingness, it gives them the feeling that they are also part of organization and they owe a responsibility towards achieving the goal of the organization. The next type of financial incentives is co-partnership or stock option. Now, under these incentive schemes, employees are offered company shares at a set price which is lower than the market price. Now, this allotment of shares create a feeling of ownership to the employee. Like, let's say, for example, you're working in an organization and your entrepreneur or your boss gives you the stock option plan or the shares of the company. You would obviously feel as if you're part of the company, and it will give you a feeling of ownership, which will make you more responsible, and which will help you to contribute more towards the growth of the organization. The next type of financial incentives is retirement benefits. Now, every organizations have different retirement benefit plans, and some of them are provident fund, pension, gratuity. So all these social securities are provided, which also act as a financial security to employee when they retire from their job, and this money can be useful to them during their old age when they are no more in a position to earn. So this retirement benefits also motivates the employee, and this is one of the financial incentive. Last one is prerequisites. Now, in many company, perquisites and fringe benefits are offered. Now, when we say perks or when we say fringe benefits, there are many perks which are given to the employee, like car allowance, housing, medical facility, insurance, education to the children of the employees over and above the salary. So, apart from the salary, they get all these perks and benefits, which will again motivate them to contribute towards the growth of the organization. Now, let's talk about non-financial incentives. As I said, that monetary incentives motivates the employee, but at times, just the monetary incentive doesn't work. Along with that, even the non-financial incentives are important because these are psychological, social, and emotional factors which plays an important role in motivation. Now, as I said, that sometimes monetary aspect may be involved in non-financial incentives as well. Like, let's say, for example, though promotion involves payment of extra money, but when non-monetary aspects override these monetary aspects, like the person wants position, recognition, appreciation. Now, for some employee, this may act more encouraging than the financial incentives. So, some of the important non financial incentives are: first, status. Now, in the organizational context, status means ranking of position in the organization. So, psychological, social, and esteem needs of an individual are satisfied by status. Like, let's say, for example, when an employee is given the authority and responsibility, and if he is offered a higher status job, he would feel motivated and work harder. The next one is organizational climate. Organizational climate indicates the characteristic which describes the organization and distinguish one organization from the other. Like, let's say, for example, individual autonomy, reward orientation, consideration to employees, all these are the example. So it's very important that how is the organizational climate or culture which is being offered to the employee, which can again motivate them. Next one is career advancement opportunity. Now, this is one of the very important non-financial incentive. Managers should provide opportunity to employees to improve their skill. Like, let's say, for example, if a person is working in your company since 10 years, and if there has been no growth and development or improvement in terms of his skills or knowledge or the kind of experience which he possesses, everything is monotonous. Now, this will not give any improvement or career opportunity to the employee, which can at times demotivate him, and it can also result into labor turnover. So, appropriate skill development programs and sound promotion policy will help the employee to achieve promotions as well as the growth. The next non financial incentive is job enrichment. Many a times it happens that people don't find the job interesting, or they find the job to be very monotonous, and it is no more a source of motivation. So, it is the duty of the manager and the management to see to it that jobs are enriched and they are made interesting. The job itself becomes a source of motivation to individual if it is interesting. So job enrichment is concerned with designing jobs that include greater variety of work content. It requires higher level of knowledge and skills, give workers more autonomy, authority, and responsibility, and it also provides them the opportunity for the growth. So it is very important that the job profile of an worker or an employee should be enhanced at every level, and it should be made more interesting. So there are also certain employee recognition programs which can be undertaken under non-financial incentives. So when we talk about employee recognition programs, we all know that when appreciation is given to the work which is performed by the employee, they feel motivated. If somebody praises you, appreciates you for the work which is done, we all feel motivated. So this is another important non-financial incentives. Now, how all these recognition can be done? First, by congratulating the employee for the better performance, displaying on the notice board about the employee if he has made a good achievement or if he has achieved the target within short time, or a letter of appreciation. Thirdly, we can also install the award or the certificate for best performance. Like many of the company, they give the certificate and award like with the tagline best employee of the month or best employee of the year. So these are the few examples at how they can be motivated. Next one is by distributing mementos, complimentaries like t-shirts with their name on, on the t-shirt, like best employee of the year along with their photograph. So all these things are being undertaken by the company as a non-financial incentives. And we can also reward an employee for giving valuable suggestion. Like let's say, for example, that your team is working on certain project and your subordinate has given a one valuable suggestion which has been very much beneficial for the organization, then that can be appreciated or that can be rewarded. Another non-financial incentive is job security. Now, every employee, be it any organization, whether it is small or a large or a medium firm, every employee looks for stability in the future and for the job. So, employee wants certain stability about the future income and work so that they do not feel worried on these aspects. So, it is very important that when they are provided or when they are given the comfort with regard to the job security, they can focus more on the work and they can work more effectively. Next one is employee participation. It means involving the employee in decision making of the issues related to them. It is the employee or the worker which is going to work on the day to day basis. So a manager cannot judge what are the difficulties which are faced by him during day to day production. So it is very important that before taking certain decision, if workers are also given the right to participate in that discussion or actively part in the management decision or give their suggestion, they would feel motivated because ultimately they are the one who are going to implement your plans in the organization and help you to achieve the goals of the organization. So again, employee participation is important. The other non-financial incentives could be employee empowerment. Now, empowerment means giving more autonomy, more responsibility, and powers to the subordinate. And this makes the people feel that their jobs are important. So this is it for this session. And in the next session, we are going to cover another element that is called leadership. So we have completed two elements of directing, that is supervision and motivation. And next we are going to learn leadership. Thank you.